Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be making a Japanese New Year's scene. So let's jump right into it. As usual, we will be starting with the walls and the floor. I of course wanted it to be a kind of traditional Japanese style room, so I've got the tatami mats and the sliding doors. I'm going to be changing this a bit later, but I wanted it as a kind of placeholder to know exactly what kind of feeling I wanted to make. Then I added some kotatsu, which are basically low tables with a blanket and a heater inside, so they're perfect for winter. Traditionally in Japan, people eat at a low table together, like sitting on the floor. That's the traditional way of doing it, and the way that I've done it when I stayed at my friend's house for New Year's. Here's some pictures. I chose the blue tatami and the blue kotatsu. I wanted to create a color theme and I chose blue for this one. As per usual, I put everything out just so that I could have a look and see what I would use and where I would use it. I was really disappointed that I couldn't put this picnic set on the kotatsu because it looked like it was the perfect size for the kotatsu, but I guess it's slightly too big. It can't be 4x4. But anyway, in Japan on New Year's Day, they eat osechi, which looks like this. It's some traditional Japanese food, and each section kind of represents different things. For example, money or studies or any kind of thing. If you eat a certain part of the osechi, that will give you good luck in that area, etc, etc. So I wanted something that was, the thing that looked the most like osechi was the picnic area. Because it couldn't fit on the kotatsu, I decided to put it next to it instead so that it kind of extended the eating area. And I was trying to find the right mat for underneath to kind of tie that area together. Another New Year's food in Japan is the soba bowl you can see here. It's actually a specific New Year's dish, and here's a picture of it in real life. It's very close to it. It's a really good representation by Nintendo. I guess they're a Japanese company, of course they're going to get it right. But because the soba noodles are so long, they're supposed to represent longevity. So you eat those on New Year's Eve in hopes of longevity, for a happy long life. I end up with that shanty mat, which wasn't what I thought I would use, but I was really happy with it in the end. And I also wasn't happy with it in the middle of the room because it made the rest of the room so tiny, and I couldn't really feel like I couldn't really separate the areas without putting the main dining area to the left at the back, to the back corner. And I wanted to give it a kind of more random feel, so I changed where all the seats were so they weren't perfectly in line. I really like the Imperial round table here because it has so many yummy foods on it, but it was a real pain for me to put it somewhere. And at the back right, you'll see me struggle with this area for a long time. I'm basically trying to make a tokonoma. A tokonoma is a space, a kind of recessed space, usually in a Japanese home, where like they put items for artistic representation or artistic appreciation are displayed in this area. It's usually in a reception room, it's in a lot of hotels, but also in living rooms. In my friends' houses anyway, they usually have an area where they put artistic things, usually a scroll. Yeah, I think most of them have at least a scroll and then maybe a plant or some sort of object for art. It's a really nice area. It's usually slightly higher up, like it's a step up as well. But I couldn't really find a way to do that well here, so I just struggled with this area for a while, and in the end I move it to another place, but we'll see in a sec. Next, I try and add some things to the walls just to give it a bit more texture, a little bit more interest. I really find it very difficult when I put things on the walls, especially in a Japanese style setting. If these are all really sliding doors, there wouldn't be anything displayed on them because they move. So I found it really difficult to place things on them, so as you'll see in the video. I try and put this cricket here because I only recently found out that the cricket's displayed in a tiny little cricket cage. So adorable. As you can see, I moved the tokonoma to the other corner, and I decided I'm going to put a fireplace where that was, just to give it a bit more depth, a bit more interest. Several times in this video I tried to add the soba noodle slide, just because again the soba noodles are so heavily used in New Year's, but it just didn't feel right. It would be much more likely that would be at a restaurant or somewhere else, not at someone's house. So I decided not to use the hearth. I use a wood burning stove instead, which again is in reference to my friend's house, who has a beautiful wood burning stove that actually looks exactly the same as that one. I add some chairs here to the imperial table, but I just can't find a way of making the imperial table look good. I just wanted it to be as a kind of, you can take things from this table, not as a place where people would sit and eat at it. I know that it does have the places for people to sit around it, but... And also, you can see I made a little entrance area there. I moved the samurai swords there. I have the welcome sign there, as if this is a big party for people coming. In this area is the kadomatsu, this thing in Animal Crossing, and it looks like this in real life. Again, very similar. Well done, Nintendo. But kadomatsu are traditionally put outside people's houses, so I put it in the entrance area. But usually they're put in the entrance to someone's house. They represent longevity again, and prosperity and steadfastness. And like kind of being respectful to the new year. It's usually, the fundamental function is for New Year's ceremonies, and it's to honor and receive Toshigami, which is a deity, a god, who originally would bring them bountiful harvests for like farmers and bestow the ancestors' blessing on everyone, etc. etc. So it's very much a happy symbol and hoping for the best for the new year and onward. Usually they're put up between like Christmas-ish time to about January 7th, I think, is when people usually put them up for. By the way, if you don't know, I do currently live in Japan and have done for 3.5 years. That's why I know about these things. So the other thing that you can see there is the Kagami Mochi. It's a rice cake tower that is everywhere around New Year's. People decorate them and put them around their houses. So they usually have the 2 stacks of mochi and then a bitter orange, a dai-dai, a bitter, I think it's just a bitter Japanese orange on top with a little leaf. And it sits on a stand with a sheet on it, as you can see in the Animal Crossing version and in the real life version, like this. So traditionally these Kagami Mochi are placed in various locations around the household, but nowadays usually people just put them in Shinto altars, in shrines and places like that. But you can get a small one to decorate your alcove in your home. That's why I was trying to put it in this tokonoma area in my build as well. Explain this. So what these things mean, I actually had to look this up because I didn't know why they were different sizes, but the 2 mochi discs are variously said to symbolize the going and coming of the years, the human heart, the yin and the yang, or the moon and the sun. And the bitter orange, whose name means generations, is said to symbolize the continuation of a family from generation to generation. So again, usually for good luck in the new year is basically what it's for. At this point, I lost a bit of the footage, which is really annoying, where I placed a sofa and moved a couple of things, but no biggie, it wasn't a very big change. So I decided not to keep the Imperial Round Table, unfortunately, even though it had so many tasty things on. I decided to put this large coffee table, is that what it's called? And added some sweet things on it. I have the savory things over by the kotatsu, on top of the kotatsu, and have the sweet things on this coffee table. I decided to play with the lighting. Usually I really like using natural light because I feel like it gives it a more real look. So not the main light, like turn off all the main lights and use either lamps or windows, because I find that that's the best way to keep it realistic. I changed the walls here to the modern sliding doors and just got my nemesis of the walls to finish. Trying to add a few art pieces. I really try and use the things on the wall to also separate the room, so I have the mats to do that and also the furniture, but finally slightly different things on the walls too. Oh, I also missed that I added a TV because there's a lot of New Year's TV, just like there's a lot of Christmas TV in Japan. There's lots and lots of New Year's TV, so I feel like that was a big part of my New Year's, watching some awesome TV with my friends. And there we have it. Just a few final touches and we're done with this room. Okay, so I'm really happy with how this turned out, and I even learned a few things about Japanese New Year. And recently, we hit 100 subscribers! Yay, I'm so happy! Yay! Thanks so much for subscribing, guys. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much for watching my videos. And soon I'll be doing a giveaway and a Q&A video. So if you guys have any questions for me, please write them in the comments down below and I will definitely answer them. So please, as many questions as you like on this video. Thanks so much for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. If you're new here, hit subscribe and we can get to 200 subscribers one day. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye!